Welcome back to another week of Quarantine with a K. I'm your host, Carla with a K, as always. We're, I think, in the final 3 episodes of the show, so I won't take too much time doing the intro, so we can just jump right into it because we've got one of y'all's favorite groups. If you read the bio, you know who it is. Well, I guess if you know their initials, because you'll know that they're gonna be on as they've been before, because you guys have met them before. And a quick disclaimer, my internet was out for like 8 hours yesterday, which is insane, and Spectrum is trash. So we'll just keep an eye out on that. So if the stream drops, it's not because I just like smashed my computer, it's because my internet went out. Because there's been thunderstorms, which I assume is why it went out. But without further ado, welcome to the studio, Areli, Maria, and maybe Jenny if she decides to pop in because she's currently muted. Welcome, friends. How are y'all?
Good. I'm glad to be
I'm
back.
good.
It's been a while.
It has. That's a jam sesh. That's right. You know. So we out here. What have y'all been up to? Because I don't think the podcast or the quarantine sessions have seen you since January.
No, it's been a minute.
It has.
Well, I've just been relaxing, enjoying my summer however I can, in the safest way
Yeah.
possible, obviously.
Right.
I've just been working.
Oh, anything
Yeah.
interesting?
Nah, that's nothing really interesting. I do have to encounter a few Karens, but that's okay.
Awful. Where do you work?
Typical.
Just a restaurant, which is the best place to meet Karens.
Of course.
But
Terrible idea.
I originally had planned on the same, but I didn't want to deal with Karens and a pandemic, so it's been all commission work for me.
Yeah.
well,
Oh, Jenny has disappeared.
Oh no.
oh, she did?
Wow.
The
Probably
government is
lost
trying to
her
silence
phone.
us, bro. Dude, I
Probably.
know. Alright, well, in
Okay.
any case, y'all are an interesting duo to have regardless, because y'all live in the same area, so y'all have had more of a similar experience than anyone else on this show has gotten to have, I think, because everyone's kind of spread out.
Yeah, I guess we do. Good old Wisconsin.
Jenny says that she isn't able to connect or reconnect, so it's just y'all two, like, confirmed.
That's okay.
Big rip, but it's fine.
Jenny. Oh my god.
I know, but it's okay. We'll
It's okay.
do it later.
Oh my god.
It's fine.
Do all of it.
And Jojo has family, and Michelle is unable to make it, so it's really just J squared. I'll have to edit the bio later, but that's fine. So we have some interesting conversations up for y'all, and it kind of stems from a long-running tradition of the show, which is asking people their zodiac signs, and we've already discussed ours. I'm a Cancer, Areli,
Gemini.
Maria.
Sagittarius? Yeah.
I don't know what you're asking us. How do we know?
the arrow
Like,
guy,
like-
the arrow ones.
Yeah. It's Sagittarius. But kind of to bounce off of a conversation that's been running for the past couple weeks, it's interesting that we turn towards such ambiguous forms of self-identification.
Like why? I don't know. I just feel like you mentioned something earlier, Carla, that like why do we care so much about like obviously I guess like you said we put on paperwork our race, our gender, our
like
everything,
ethnicity,
like,
orientation,
legal stuff.
etc.
Yeah. But like we can't put like, oh, I'm a Sagittarius, or like, oh, like I'm this personality type, or I'm whatever, like,
Yeah.
and then all the other things are just kind of trivial and unimportant, like you said, like you get
Like
judged
all
more
it
from
says is how far away from the equator you live because of the color of your skin tone, and then what coordinate plot point you were born at. Like that's all that means. It doesn't really mean anything about you as a person.
Yep.
like even within the same household, you can have people who are from the same place, at the same age, raised the same way.
Mhm.
One ends up being
Mhm.
super cool, one ends up being kind of psycho.
Trash.
Like that's not at all like an identifier that means anything.
Right.
However, stuff like star signs,
That's
like
a different story.
yeah.
Like,
Raphael says Sag gang. He's a
oh, he's a
Sagittarius
Sag
too.
too?
Oh,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
No
That's
Gemini.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Messiah
no
sometimes
one
thinks that.
likes
No
Gemini,
one
bro.
wants to
Like,
be
what?
a Gemini. Damn.
Messiah usually hangs in the chat and he's a Gemini, so if he
A
pops on, you'll have someone
Gemini.
to relate to,
Yeah.
and if not, I'm sorry.
Love him. Love him.
But like stuff like the star signs, right? They're supposed to describe
Mhm.
something about your personality. Like that's something that I think
Right.
would matter more, and I feel like that's why I personally, I guess, turn to stuff like that, even though it really is about
Mhm.
as vague as anything else, because like nothing
Right. Because
tells you.
like there's 12 zodiacs.
Like there's more than 12
You're
types of
gonna
people in
tell
the
me
world.
yeah, exactly. Like 1/12 of the entire population has these kind of personality
Yeah.
traits, and then there's also like all this other stuff like, oh, your ascendant, your moon, your Venus. Like, what is that? Like,
Well, see, that's the stuff that alters it. Like that's the stuff that breaks it down, because people are gonna have different like sky maps
right.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do understand that it's kind of dumb because like it just went viral on Twitter a few days ago. Again, like astrologists
Mhm.
discover Ophiuchus, and I'm like, bro, that's been happened. We've been new.
Oh yeah,
The-
we've been new.
That one would make me a Gemini, which I'm like, no, thank you.
That would make me. I forgot.
You
Taurus.
move back towards Taurus. Raphael says
Yeah.
Geminis are gems. He's biased. He knows like all of his favorite people are Geminis.
What?
All of his favorite people are Gemini. So you have fans,
Oh,
Areli. God.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought.
I will say, I usually get along really well with Geminis. It's just, in the grand scheme of things, Geminis are, I mean, they're Geminis. What more can I say? But this also kind of
Whatever.
took us towards a more like, honestly, like we read the messages and we all laughed because it's funny, but at the same time, like it's interesting that we can find anything to relate to because we are so craving of an identity, but I feel like there's some of us that kind of reject traditional labels that don't really mean anything.
Right.
Like it just
Right.
kind of states a fact, but that fact doesn't say anything about you. And so Maria had asked, like, yo, if we were dogs, what type of dogs would we be? And I
Bro.
loved reading that.
I've
'cause I
always
was like,
wondered that. Like when I was younger, like I don't know if y'all like saw Animal Planet, but they had this show called Dogs 101.
uh-huh.
And it was literally just every episode they would focus on a certain breed of dog and like how trainable it was, health issues, all this stuff. And I was like, man, like I was a dog expert when I was like 10. I
Right.
was like, oh, that's a bull terrier. Oh, that's a bulldog. That's an Afghan hound. Like I was so quick about it. But now
I don't
it's
even
like,
know
I
what
was
those
like,
dogs that you just named look like.
you can ask me.
Maria has a husky.
Aquí está, el mocoso.
He's so cute. We stan. Maria would probably be a husky if she were a dog.
You think? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
what
like
would you
they're like calm and strong, but then like when they're hyped, they're hyped. And I feel like that's you because you usually present yourself as like a very like
Serena morena, calmadita.
but then whenever you're like having fun and like being silly, like that becomes like your defining trait in the moment.
Also a Sagittarius trait.
Also
might I add.
Sagittarius traits. Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa, come full circle.
We came full circle. What would you say you are, Areli? Because now I want to know these.
Dude, I really like these kind of dogs. They're called Afghan hounds, and they just have beautiful, long, really long fur, and they look like they kind of have like a wig on. Like they're so cute. If you look it up,
I'm
like,
looking it up.
like Afghanistan, but just Afghan hound, and like that's me. Like
Afghan hound.
that's
That's the
me.
one. Really?
The one that I sent.
Yeah. the one
Oh
with that
my
really
god,
long
I
ass-
love those
Yep.
dogs. They're so
Right? They're so
weird. They're my
pretty.
favorite.
I love them. They're so cute.
This is
And
the
like when they run, they
Afghan
just
hound.
kind of look like they're wearing a skirt, and it's just like,
Bro, that looks like a curtain with a face.
yeah, I just love it.
I
I mean,
stand.
I don't think I would enjoy, like the shedding,
Mm-hmm.
but just kind of like walking down the street, like
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I would identify more with the German Shepherd, kind of for like similar reasons as Maria would with a husky. Well, as
Okay.
we've assigned Maria to a husky.
You're not a husky.
Are you a husky, Maria? What do you feel like you are?
Pues, ya ni sé.
Yeah, you say. Girl. How you gonna say you love dogs and you can't even assign yourself a breed?
Ooh, T.
Pitbull.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
A pit bull? I could see that as
yeah,
well, though.
honestly, yeah.
Okay,
I fucked with
pit bulls
it. I
are like
fucked with it.
really, really loving. Like they're
Mhm.
really loving, but they look scary. But I don't look scary.
Maria, people always say they're intimidated by you.
¿En serio?
Shit, really?
¿Te cae, güey?
Not
really?
intimidated like she's gonna beat them up, but intimidated like she doesn't want to talk to them.
Right. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say unapproachable, but just kind of like wary,
Oh,
like,
so like intimidating?
sure.
I approach people and certain people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's characteristic of pit bulls.
Okay.
Like they choose who they want
Yeah.
to be with.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. They're fun to play with too. Like they're just fun. Like they're
Shut up,
pit bull.
Yeah.
They're cute.
You're just trying to mess with me all the time.
She's literally hyping you up, bro.
All right, whatever. You
No.
said you were German Shepherd.
Yeah. Because like, cuando la cosa es seria, but like when it's time to play, then
Right.
like it's time to play. Like I like that distinction because they can either be like really, really good like work dogs, or they can
Right.
be like the perfect companion.
Mhm.
And I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, I can't entirely define myself because I perceive myself differently than the world's gonna perceive me, right? But I feel like that's what I strive to be like, kind of like be very distinct. Like this is who you need to be in the moment, but like whenever
Mhm.
everything's fine, like don't worry
Like
about
everything
it.
has its time and like
Yeah,
place
there's a time and
type of
place for
thing. Yeah,
things.
that's
Yeah,
good. That's good. Not a lot of people have like that ability, like
yeah,
skill. I don't know. Like
to
you'd be surprised how many
differentiate.
people don't like can't read the room.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
that's how it
read
is.
the
That's how it
room.
is. Read the room. Like, come
I can't
on.
read the room.
I like that though. But we were
But
also.
back to
Wait, were you
I,
saying?
wa- I
Maria?
want to talk more about like how you were saying that location doesn't very matter, but I feel like it does.
Okay,
Because
let's
like
discuss.
where you where you live, like it really influences you a lot.
But that's
As
where
we
you
can
live,
all
not where
tell.
you're from.
Oh.
That's kind of
Okay,
like
well,
it's kind of like nature versus nurture. Yeah,
The
I just
Don't even get me
picked on
started.
one of
thing.
Aureli's favorite
Don't
topics.
even get me started.
This is
Oh
the
my God.
convo we're here for, though.
Yeah, like you're right. I agree with both of you. Like I can't even like I don't know. Like yeah, Carla, like you said, like where you're from and how long you've been there for
Yeah.
and like what you picked up from that place or that, that part of your life where
Mhm.
you lived, I guess, or you were from. Well, sometimes, I mean, depending on obviously a lot of different factors will affect your future and where you live now.
Yeah.
And then, consequently, like every other place you live, if you choose to live in
Right.
other places in
But
the
to what
future.
degree? Because we're all from Mexico, right? And look at us
Right.
spread out across the country with completely
Mhm.
different experiences of the states.
Yeah, some people think sweet tea is amazing. Some people think it's trash, like
I'm gonna fight you.
it's trash.
I'm gonna fight both of you.
It's trash.
It's good.
Why
It's
is this
good.
a conversation we're
I
having?
like sweet tea. I don't want to get beat up when I go back to Connecticut. Okay, I like sweet tea. Just
can
putting
take
it out there, y'all. Like,
Sweet tea is good.
por favor.
I'm gonna fight you for bringing this up, but I'm gonna fight Maria for disagreeing.
I can do it.
Bro, I've been having the debate about tea all week. I'm heated.
Oh my God.
It came up in
You could see
another group
you could
chat.
say the tea is hot.
The tea should be iced, actually.
Tea should be
I can go.
brewed.
Okay.
That's literally okay, Carla. Okay.
Okay.
How do you get
Here we
iced
go.
tea? From brewing leaves.
Yeah,
From
no, you
what?
make the tea,
From
but then
hot.
you don't drink it hot. It's got to be iced. You only
But
drink it when
still
it's
came
iced.
from there.
Okay,
It
so
didn't come
perfect
in
analogy.
Oh.
We've come full circle.
location thing
What matters more,
about
where it came from or
about
what it turned
we
into?
did come full circle about where we were born and how where we came
Are
from.
we just all different types of tea?
What type of tea would you be if you were a type of tea?
I'd be raspberry tea. I love raspberries.
Chamomile tea. I like
I would be
chamomile.
agua de
Okay.
Jamaica.
Ooh.
Oh, that was
I
nice.
fucks with it. Agua de Jamaica, yeah. That's good.
Raphael
That's good.
says Northerners don't like sweet tea because they don't know how to make it. That's
The way
tea,
to be like, I can
sis.
just give you some sugar packets and put it in your coat. Like,
No one wants it anyways,
Thank you, Alicia,
Raphael.
for subscribing. Yeah, well, you know what, Maria? I think you just haven't had the right tea, and that's your problem.
I'm just
Oh.
saying. I'm just saying.
When we get back, we're gonna have a sweet tea tasting party until you find the right one. But I don't
Okay.
know how that works because social distancing.
That's true.
We'll
That's
all sit.
true.
We'll all
You
sit
can't
on a
you
group
can just
call
drop
and
it off at my door.
no, we'll all sit on a group call and make the tea so that we know how to make it and we know it's made right, and then we'll taste it and see if it's good.
Okay. Okay.
Because it's just black tea with
I mean-
sugar. That's all it is.
never had black tea.
That's what sweet tea is. Sweet tea is literally just black tea with sugar.
Oh, really?
The more you know.
Okay. Okay. I usually have green tea.
Anyways, back to
Back to the
location.
topic, though.
We're
Back
all
to the
from
topic.
Mexico, right?
Yeah.
We're all from Mexico, right? We
Okay.
all have similar experiences, not saying the exact same experiences, but
Mhm.
you know, like
But we
our
also
culture
spent
is what
different amount
binds
of
us.
time.
Literally. No,
Yeah.
okay, but okay.
Green
so
iced
let's,
tea is
okay, so
really
let's do
good, dude.
that, but let's also talk about like our culture. Like because we're all Mexican, we all have the same culture, which is what makes us all so similar.
And that
Like,
only
you
goes
know,
again
like-
to a certain extent, though, because we have different traditions from our culture that we each celebrate. We talked about this in our traditions episode when you guys were on
Yes,
in the winter.
last year. No, was it the last episode we were on?
You guys were on right before break and right after break.
Okay, yeah. Was
So
it
this
the
was-
one right? Okay, yeah.
Because we talked about Halloween and Dia de Reyes and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Dia de Muertos and stuff too.
yeah. Like even in Mexico, like they, we may celebrate the same holiday, but
Yeah.
different parts of Mexico celebrate differently.
Yeah.
You know, like just like
Yeah.
los bailes folclóricos en México, los vestidos son diferentes, tienen diferentes texturas, different dances too,
Yeah.
dancing style. Like it's different. Like with such diversity within such a small country, you know.
Exactly.
That's what I liked about that.
So wait, Maria, so are you saying that it's more so it is about where you're from and like kind of very like base level identifiers that define what you identify with later in life?
I'm not saying that it's like one like, oh, just because of this is what you're gonna become. No, but like obviously everything has an influence on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything does. Like if I wasn't Mexican and I was born here, but I still lived here in Waukesha, I feel like I would still be sort of similar to what I am now, you
Mhm.
know? It's like the location here.
Yeah.
But like I'm just saying like everything influences you, and we should like acknowledge that because we're all Mexican, we all have certain influences that have been made to us when we're growing up, especially food. Like come on. we can name so many foods that we have named, I mean that we've eaten, and yes, they might not obviously be the exact same thing,
But they shape our palate.
it's like they shape it.
Yep.
Like mole, come on. I know you guys eat it with chocolate. I don't. I can't stand it with chocolate.
It's so much better
I
with chocolate. It
can't.
gives it more flavor.
No,
is.
it's not.
Right.
No, it's not. It's really not.
But okay.
Areli, you've tried my mom's mole, okay?
I
Areli,
have.
you've tried my mom's mole, and what is it? What is it?
When did I? Whatever.
Just saying.
I never taught.
Was
I
it
never
not
said
great?
anything against your mom's
Don't-
mole.
don't-
I don't
don't
even
you-
know why
don't
you get
you
so
say this?
defensive.
You always want me to take you mole every time my mom makes it.
the ulterior motive for this was just getting Areli to admit that she makes mole wrong.
I've never even made mole, okay? So I can't even
No,
say.
yes, you did, sort of, because when
No.
Jafet's mom gave us the mole, basically,
But
you made
that's
it with
like
your mom
cake.
when we were at
Your
your
mom makes
house.
it from scratch. That's literally different.
Well,
Again,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
back to the
Yeah,
thing. Like,
mom
it's
did
the
make
same
it.
thing, but it's made differently. You know, you add a little something here and there, you take away some stuff. At
You
the end of the
know,
day, it's mole.
Mhm.
I am intrigued in this conversation though, because it does tie into nature versus nurture. But Maria's argument is interesting because she's saying that nature affects, I guess, how you perceive nurture, which isn't something that I've heard a lot.
Ooh, okay.
Like, it's a really, it seems like it's obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like, what you begin life with affects how you perceive life later, but it's not
Right.
an argument a lot of people make. A lot of people are very, like, definitive, one side beats the other. Or
Right.
kind of the other way around, like your experiences shape how you perceive the past.
That's true.
I'm so
That's
smart.
true. Because when you learn something that you didn't know before, it's like, oh, well, that's why
Yeah,
I did it this way, or that's why it didn't happen this way because of this and this and
right,
this. You know, while in the moment when something happened to you, you're like, oh, this sucks. Or like, oh, that's great. But,
right. Well, see,
you
and
know, you
here's,
learn stuff later on.
and let's address this though with our personal experiences, right? That way we don't speak for somebody else. Me
Okay.
being Mexican, me being a city kid, but growing up in the States and in the South, first in like a very like small town city, like inner district area, and then in high school going to a very like country southern fishing mudding that type of kids area, like being in
Right.
each of those. Messiah says hello my fellow Gemini.
Ah.
But being
Wait,
from
what
like
did he say? I didn't hear.
Messiah said hello my fellow Gemini to Areli.
Hello. Oh. Ya
Hi.
llegó el desmadre.
Dang, so we got a Gemini and a Sagittarius in the chat. Where's my crab gang at?
I'm getting.
No, but what I was saying was that like those are all identifiers that like define, I guess, different periods of my life. However, I feel like what's defined them more. Kim says it's three baddies. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by
Hi,
chat.
Kimmy.
But what's defined my experiences has been more like how I've chosen to interact in these circles, right? Because growing up as a
Right.
kid, I was kind of just learning about the world. And
Yeah.
any like interactions or feedback were never, well, I'm not gonna say never. Most of them were not about the fact that I was Mexican or anything else. Like that was just kind of
Right.
like it was there, but there were other Mexicans around me. So like it was just kind of like, oh, you're from the city. Like the defining feature there was I was from the city and not the country. Not that I was from
Yeah.
Mexico, right? And then in
Yeah.
high school,
Guarden sus carteras. Or
yeah,
whatever the hell
yeah,
they
yeah.
say.
And so then in
Like,
high school, the difference was I had to face that I was different because I was Mexican. Because like there was 4 kids that weren't white in high school. Before that, it was 20% that were white. So like that was a complete culture shock. And so in high school, having to accept the identifier Mexican as a title, I was like, well, what does that have to do with me? I haven't even been to Mexico in like my waking memory. So like I am
right.
Mexican and I'm from Mexico and I indulge in Mexican culture, but why should that be what defines me and not the fact that I'm a student, that I'm studious, that I'm creative, that I'm like stuff that defines your actions rather than your like what would you call it, your
Past.
identity? Like are you identified
Yeah.
by your actions
Like
or
other identifiers. Yeah.
yeah, so like
Which throughout your life become, I guess, smaller and smaller. I guess.
right.
Like, you know, like, okay, yeah, I'm Mexican, but then I'm
But that's
also
as
this, but
people
I'm
get to
primarily
know
this.
you. But see,
Right.
why does the first thing someone see have to be something that you can't change, something that's just kind of very factual? Like, just because you're Mexican, or just because you're a woman, or just because you're, like, born in the city and not the country, like, just because you're that, you can
Right.
take whatever path you want. Like, being any of those things isn't going to mean you're going to be more studious or more creative or more, like, easygoing or more, like, anything.
Right.
Okay, so let's do this. Okay,
At least it's a
so
Cancer. Nice.
are you gonna go? Are you gonna go around with every stranger that you meet, telling them your whole life story? Like you,
And
that's
then
just
make a
something that you're
judgment.
not gonna do. that like that's not something that you do. You have to like, sometimes that's all you can get from a person is how they look, because you're not gonna like
No,
But that's
go
going to
out of
lead you
your
to make
you're right.
assumptions and stereotype.
Right. Pero mira, hay un dicho y dice bien,
I
que
know,
como te ven, te
but
tratan.
are you
And it's true.
Yeah, but does
I
that
know, but
refer
it's
to how you look physically or what people see you doing?
I think both,
Sorry, Maria, I cut you
you
off. What were you
know.
saying?
nothing.
No, Maria, finish your sentence.
Maria, just say something, bro. Come on, finish what
Nah,
you're saying.
good.
No, we're
No,
not
I'm
like,
good.
this is a discussion. We need to hear all viewpoints because that's the whole
Right.
point of the show is learning from each other.
It's fine.
No, enlighten us.
Maria, bro, come on.
No, I said it. I don't. No, I already said it.
Okay. Fine. But yeah, I feel going back to what you were saying, Carla, like is it something that they see your actions or how you just present yourself? I think it's both. Like you can you can go see somebody walking down the street, like, and you just look at them. Like
Mm-hmm.
they could be dressed in a business suit or like in a skirt or whatever, and you're like, oh, like you just it's just I feel like it's just human nature to make those assumptions because
Yeah.
you want to know as much, you want to take in as much information as possible in order to kind of decide, okay, what am I going to do now? How am I going to approach the situation?
Yeah.
You know, because if you
exactly.
just went around the world willy-nilly, humans would not have made it this far.
Right. Raphael in the chat says we should identify people by their actions and not aspects of their being that they have no control over, and generalization is trash. But he also says, Maria said, oh, you interrupted me? Guess I'll just never speak again. But going off of that, like, you raised a good point, which is like even something as simple as like how people are dressed. That's telling
I'm
you.
sorry. I don't really know what you're saying because you're cutting off a lot.
Can you hear me, Areli?
I can hear you fine, Carla. Yeah.
Maria, if you're on Wi-Fi, switch to data or vice versa, maybe. That's the extent of my troubleshooting. I'm not in STEM major yet.
Yeah. You might as well be, bro.
Huh?
You might as well be.
I could. I have time to do it. I am working on a computer science minor, so I might just upgrade that. But even what you said about like how somebody dresses, like, are they dressed like that for work? Are they dressed like that out of personal like aesthetic, or does that even mean anything about them? Because someone could own like one nice suit or like a series of pieces that they mix and match, but it doesn't mean that they're rich or professional or anything. That could just literally be a fashion choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have no idea what the hell you said for the last minute.
Are you back? Can you hear now?
Yeah, can you hear us, Maria?
Yeah.
Hello?
So just to recap, we were saying like the way that somebody dresses can only tell you what you see or what your assumptions are made, because it doesn't mean that someone's anything, like whether that be professional or rich or anything, right? Like it doesn't tell you anything other than they made the choice to wear that outfit.
Right.
The last thing I heard was what Raphael said. I don't know what he said.
He said that like pretty much that like why what Carla just explained. Did you hear what Carla said, Maria?
It's because you're still cutting off.
Shoot. Let me put it in the chat or something. I don't know what to do. But let me
transcribe it.
While I transcribe for Maria in the chat. Kim, you can slide in my DMs now that I'm a computer science minor. I gotcha. That bag isn't just for me. That bag goes to everybody. But Raphael had said there are behaviors that we engage because of cultural upbringing, but that's a byproduct of us treating people based on their identities. So what do you think about that?
But then again, like it just, even if you're brought up in a certain culture, like if you have a certain job or I don't know, like just choose to dress differently from the culture that you were brought up in, that itself will like other people will be like, oh, like she's kind of she's kind of dressing differently, like I wonder what they're up to, or like, or how you know, like they just you raise questions because people don't like, or I guess don't understand like differences, I guess, and that's why we want to categorize things like, oh, like
Yeah.
if something's different, we want to put a category for it, and like that's just, I guess, like I said, like that's just how like the human brain works. I don't know why. I don't
Right.
know, but that's because it's just easier.
So that's
It's
an
like,
interesting
yeah.
aspect of the human brain. We don't try to just identify ourselves, but we try to identify others to fit our
Hmm.
own perceptions of the world. And like,
Yeah.
who are we
Those
to
are called schemas, I think.
I love it when you talk science. But like, what is that? But like, what exactly does that mean about us, right? That we want people to fit in our own boxes. Like, who are we to think we can impose our own beliefs onto anyone else?
Okay.
Like, the most we can do is
Yeah.
have a conversation about, I see things this way, do you? Yes, no, why? And then,
Like,
like,
is my red your red type of
oh
thing.
my god, right? Like, right now you're wearing a red shirt, but how do I know that the color I see as red isn't the color that you see as yellow or something?
Right.
But you just call it red because we see a
Because,
color that we've identified as red.
hmm sorry for you colorblind people. This is a red shirt.
Jorge.
Jorge,
Isn't
I was
Jorge
just
Cabrera
thinking that.
colorblind?
Oh shit. Is he on?
I don't know. He's one of the people that
Yes, he
Okay.
told me
is.
to do
No
the show,
offense
so
to people who are colorblind.
if he's not watching this, he better watch these after the fact.
You better.
But Maria, now that you're able to partake in the conversation, what do you think about that? Like how we try to identify people not only like for like ourselves, but also kind of fit them into our own boxes.
I mean, sometimes you can't really help it, but I feel like the most you can do is try to be understanding. Like I work with a lot of like older Mexicans, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. And they're over here trying to impose their views on me, and I'm trying to do the same. But
Right.
like
So it's
we're
like,
both so hard-headed that we just can't, we won't be able to do that. But at least I try to see what they're saying,
Yeah.
you know? like
right.
like I understand that. Like I feel like the key for us to understand everyone is for us to be willing to even listen, and for us to even like actually make an effort to understand their view. And I
Mhm.
know that our brains are not the same. Obviously every brain is not the same, but we can at least try our best to do that. But when people are so ignorant that they don't even want to listen to anybody else's opinion, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's a lot. You can see that a lot in today's like media and stuff, and like everyday life. Like people are just so hard-headed and they don't want to listen to anybody else other than themselves, and it pisses me off. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
Beautifully said, Maria. I could not have said it better myself. Like
I
John
like that a
Lennon
lot,
said, give
but
peace a chance. Like,
big facts. But also like in the process of being open-minded, I feel like some people get lost and try to make people act open-minded in the same way that they do it, which
That's
again
true.
kind of
so in the opening, they close
it's kind of
themselves
like
off
coming
again.
it's full circle but in the wrong way, right? Or not in the wrong way, but
Right.
like kind of in a retroactive way, if you can say it
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I know
Because
what you
if
mean.
you're being open-minded and someone's just not there yet on their own personal journey, you yelling at them for not being open-minded, like do you really think that's going to make them
That
want
makes
to
you
continue
look,
the
yeah.
journey?
Right. Like, oh, is that where you're at? Is that where I'm gonna end up? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like
And we talked
intolerant
about
of
this.
like,
Okay, but now you have to take in emotions into account. Like our
Yeah,
emotions are so powerful that it drives our choices and our emotions. I mean, our
actions.
decisions.
that's
Hmm.
facts. Especially when it's
Actions.
people's like livelihood being discussed so casually. And we talked
Right.
about it last week too about how like it shouldn't be anybody's job to teach anyone else, but like if someone doesn't know that they have to do the work, like they need that red flag, right? So like
Right.
it's it ultimately always boils down to finding the middle ground, which is one of my most hated like buzzwords because you see it everywhere and it doesn't really mean anything. But
Right.
like it's constantly changing, and like even the way we identify ourselves, kind of like you said, like the more you know somebody, the less that those base facts matter.
Right.
Like it's not like you're telling someone your life story the second you meet them, but like as they get to know your life story, it changes from like, oh, that's a Mexican girl to, oh, that's a creative, sciency girl.
Hmm.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Maria, were you saying something?
Maria, yeah.
I keep thinking you're
I was
talking
just
and
saying,
cutting
who
off.
is that? I'm just saying, who is that? Because you said creative, sciencey girl. I wonder who that is.
Aren't y'all both creative sciencey girls?
You want to see my painting?
Yes,
Oh, wait,
sure.
wait, wait.
Nobody, literally no one, not even
Maria,
God.
you want to see my painting? Oh, Jesus.
I love it.
Funny.
Maria, please show us your painting, though. I really do want to
Please,
see it.
bro.
I'm excited.
Ándale, you worked so hard on it.
Please
Like,
show me
we
your
both
I thought
painting.
you already did, though.
No, she didn't see it.
Wait, you didn't see it, Carla?
No.
Show it, damn it.
We put it on our
We want to see the
stories.
artwork.
Oh, the ones you hid in your living room?
We put it on. Not that one.
Was that then? Yo que sé.
No, don't you remember? I put it on my story.
Show
'cause
it!
Me and Areli did a wine night and paint.
Yeah. I just remember seeing the one that you put in your living room.
That one was mine.
Oh, shoot, that one. Hold on, Maria talks. What changes to your camera?
What? Oh,
There you go.
okay. Is this?
It's still not switching to your
I see.
camera.
Wait, okay.
Yo,
So this is
that's
my painting.
so cool. Oh my
So
gosh.
it's like, wait, Carla, you really didn't see it?
I think I just swiped up saying it was cute, but I think I saw a work in progress. I hadn't seen it like dry and finished. That's like Starry Night.
Yeah, and then like, but it's like my own interpretation. No, I put it in the desert instead of like what Vincent Van
That's
Gogh
so
did.
freaking cool.
So I did that. What do you think this is? What do you think this is?
It looks like a little forest.
No, that brown thing right there.
Oh,
Like the tannish brown thing.
No, like this
A rock?
in between the no. It's in between the rock and the creosote.
It looks like a little path of rocks.
It's a scorpion.
Oh, wait, in the very center?
Yeah, in the middle of the two.
It's supposed to be a scorpion.
I can't see the detail very well on the screen, but I'll rewatch this later so I can see it in full close up.
I know. It's okay.
Chat is going crazy for your painting.
Okay.
Oh, really? What are they saying?
Sauce, that
What are
looks
they
so
saying?
nice, magnificent, marvelous. Kim wants to know if it's for sale. We got ourselves a Picasso, immediate classic.
Okay, yes, Maria. She was like, I don't know, Areli. I don't know. It kind of looks crappy, and I was like,
It's
bro,
cute.
shut up. Like, just shut up. It's so cute.
I love it.
Thank you.
You don't even know the work she had to put into that, like, to finish it. Because we were starting it out.
I wasn't even breathing.
And
I wasn't even breathing when I was
Yeah.
painting it. Because
I
I
was
was
like,
so
Maria, you
scared I
haven't
was
breathed
going to
in,
do
like-
something wrong.
Speaking
Yeah.
of breathing and painting, you guys want to know something really cool? So,
What?
I don't know where I learned this or when in my life I learned about archery. But I
Okay.
learned that when you're doing archery and you pull back the bow, like before you let go of the arrow, most people's instinct is to hold their breath. What you're supposed to do when you let go is just exhale, like quickly with the thing. That way, when you're holding your breath, you're not like bobbing up and down like with your heartbeat. Like when you exhale, it's like a very definitive, like steady action, like you let it go. And
So
it's
it's like.
yeah, it's kind of like when you're working out too, like whenever you're like
Yeah.
holding it and you need to come down steady, that's when you like release. So you like breathe in as you're pulling it and then you exhale as you let it go. And it's the same thing for like shooting and stuff like that. But whenever I'm painting, I've taken that mentality. So like I'm painting a straight line or something, I'll take that deep breath like as I'm like loading the paintbrush, and then as I paint it, like that's when you exhale. Yeah. And it works.
That makes
it really
sense.
works.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Raphael, it's like shooting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That is so cool. I'm going to do that next time.
So I don't know
That's
where I learned
lit.
that, but
I
it's
did
a
not know
good
that.
thing. It's crazy how things like intersect like that.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I can see what that would make it a lot easier. That yeah.
Yeah, it's stabilizing.
I
No,
just
I'm
learned
going to do that next time.
I mean, have you ever been shooting or archery so that you would have
I've
learned
done
that?
archery like a couple times, but not enough to like know that.
Oh,
Like
cool. The
it
more
was
you
just for
know.
fun. Mm-hmm.
I did it in middle school camp.
Oh shoot,
I did
nice.
archery for middle school camp for a day.
That's sick. I think I learned it in high school because one of my
Anyways.
friends had a bow, and then another one of my friends bought a bow, just for
Okay,
like
Katniss
backyard.
Everdeen.
I know,
See
right?
you.
I tried to shoot it one time because
We were all in.
we're all just trying to be Katniss.
Yeah, we were all
At
trying to
Joanna.
be Katniss.
And in that moment, we were all Katniss.
Joanna.
Where is JoJo when you need her?
Right.
Didn't
For
she
real,
say she
bro.
wore the
I-
braid?
She has a little braid
I
and
think she
everything.
said she wore the braid for like a few.
Bro, not
She
gonna
would.
lie, I did that too. I had a Katniss braid like
Wow.
for 2 years in high school.
See, I can't even do braids. I just learned to do like French braids and Dutch braids after 21
Alacran.
years
That's
of
what
life.
scorpion
Like
is in
just
Spanish. Yeah.
this summer. That's my hobby I picked up.
Has
That's
it?
Mhm.
Amazing. So did you guys learn to braid when you guys were kids, or just not until like life had to teach you?
I did it on like this My Little Pony thing that I did. I was like, okay, well, I can kind of see what it looks like, and I
My
just kind of
Little
fumbled
Pony.
with it until I did a braid, and I was like, okay, but not like the ones that like that
'Cause
like, you pick up hair. It's just like your
Yeah.
basic like little.
The length
You
of
know.
it. I'm asking
Yeah.
because it's a cultural thing for Mexican girls to know how to braid.
My mom was never. She didn't like her hair being like pulled or tugged, so she didn't like being like her hair braided.
Hmm.
And because she didn't like it on herself, she never learned to do it, so she didn't teach me. So I never learned how to do it.
Got you. I think I learned how to braid because my mom taught me obviously how to braid just like the length of the hair, and also like
Mhm.
French braids,
Mhm.
but not like from the top, because she only braids like the length, I guess, of the French braid.
Mhm.
And then I kind of took that and ran with it because instead of doing like the little twist with the butterfly clips like all along your head,
Oh,
I wanted
fuck
to do
no.
that in braids. And then again, like in school, I learned like people from like different parts of the world, different cultures, etc. Like how to like do the little tiny corner braids. That's hard. Like I can't do that on myself
Damn. Oh
ever.
hell no.
But like normal braids, just
It's too much.
like a French braid or two, or like Dutch braids and stuff like that I can do. But I feel like a lot of us had to like, or not had to, but a lot of us like had styles like that, like just braids.
No, my mom just put my hair up in a ponytail, and she's like, "All right, go to school."
What about you, Maria?
Like I just.
My mom didn't teach me how to braid hair, but like during art, like throughout like elementary, we did like braids for bracelets. Like I knew the pattern of a braid, which is like the three things, because we had to do it for our class. But my mom never taught me how to do it on hair.
Dang.
Gotcha.
So we were all
Interesting.
SOL, huh?
See, I learned to
mean, my
braid better on
mom-
myself because I didn't like ponytails.
Oh, no, ponytail saved my life,
I
man.
hate
Like,
ponytails.
So, how old were you when you learned to braid, Maria?
I don't know how to braid.
Like at all at all? Wait, like at all at all?
she tried it on my hair.
Oh,
Like
I thought you were
anything.
saying
She
in
knows how to
art
braid
you learned to
braid.
braid.
Well, I mean, I learned how to braid bracelets, like the basic as pattern for a
But just
bracelet.
not onto your
but I-
actual hair. Got you.
No. Like, okay, like right now I could do like just this, but I can't grab it from my scalp. I can only grab it from like my
Got
hair.
you.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I could do
like
that, but
doing
I
this whole
can't.
little this
Uh-huh.
thing, like picking up hair. I can't do it
Yeah,
on myself, but I can
that
do
I
it
can't
on
do.
someone else.
It does take a different like I guess muscle memory to do it on yourself than on somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
Hi
can see what
Eamon,
I'm
hi
doing.
Theo. Chat's all
Hey.
going off greeting each other, but I think I missed this earlier. Kim said she learned on big Barbie heads and she's Honduran. I
Honestly,
also,
yeah.
that's how I learned to do the really intricate braids. Me and Charlotte's my sister if anyone doesn't know that. But we
I
had
don't
like,
know that. I'm just kidding.
yes, I have a sister named Charlotte. We had these little
I'm
like
just kidding. No,
Barbie
I'm just
heads,
kidding. I knew that.
and they had like the hair, but they also had the nails. And I never wanted to paint their nails because I was like, I'm gonna have to take it off and then just redo it. So I learned how to do my own nails, but I learned how to braid like the Barbie head. And then I was like, wait, how would I do this on myself? So I turned the Barbie head around so I could learn like the backwards motion for the braid.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I would not have done that.
I need one of those. I do remember having a Barbie head, but I don't think I ever did braids on it.
Yeah.
At least
I did
don't
her
remember doing
makeup.
them.
I did her makeup and stuff, but I never did the hair because I'm like, I'm not even gonna go into that.
Thank you
Like,
for subscribing, Raphael. Okay, so another question then, since we're talking about he said chat mods missing. Everybody go wild. Streamlabs is still there. I don't know what Streamlabs auto blocks, but speaking of other cultural things, how old were y'all when y'all were allowed to wear makeup? Or was that just not a conversation in your house?
like what do you mean like
Like,
oh, you can't wear makeup until you're this
I
age,
couldn't.
or
Yeah, exactly that
Oh,
phrase. That's the
no.
exact phrase that I'm wondering if you guys had.
No, I never had that phrase, but it was just kind of like if
Me
I
neither.
wore something too outrageous, like
Uh-huh.
red lipstick at like 12 or 13, yeah, my mom would probably say something.
Thank you for the donation. It's
But
lit.
other than that, I don't think I was ever like not allowed to wear makeup. It just kind of came as like I grew up, you know. I think
Right.
middle school was when I was like I started to like experiment. But
Uh-huh. Oh my god,
think
that's
about it.
Tara. Hi, Tara.
Tara.
What about you, Maria?
I never showed an interest in makeup, so I never really had to have the conversation.
Got you. See, I
I mean, I
mean,
never did it, so I don't really care for makeup. I mean, no, I mean, I would wear it for special occasions, I guess, but I don't know how to do it on myself. I have to
Right.
make my sister do it for me or something, but I can't do it myself.
I always
I
wonder
wish I
with stuff
could,
like that.
but
Because, like, you didn't
Huh?
want to wear makeup, so that just wasn't an issue that came up.
yeah.
Because
Well, it's not that I didn't want to. I
Yeah.
just never really had an interest in it.
Right.
Like, yeah, I saw other girls do it, but I never thought that, oh, like I would want to do that. I never
That's
really,
interesting,
that thought
because
never
you would
really came
think
to me.
you'd be like, oh, everybody's wearing makeup now, I have to. That's
Right.
kind of like peer
I don't
pressure,
give a shit what
know?
other girls did.
We stand. No, but I'm saying because, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to play with it. But speaking of, like, what other girls did, everyone wore, like, the black eyeliner on their, like, lower lash line. And I hated it. It looked raccoony, and like that's what like the phrase was. It was like raccoon eyes. And I learned to do makeup for Halloween, dressing up as a cat eyeliner. So I learned to do eyeliner like with the cat eye
that
wing.
bitch.
And so I didn't really wear it, and I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't allowed to. I also didn't just have the time or patience to do it for school. But like I can only do it for like when I turned 13. I could do it for special occasions to go to school, and so I was like, well, I never thought about it, but now that it's allowed, I kind of want to do it. So I like would do just like the cat eyeliner for like, you know, the last day of school, or for like Halloween, or for like holiday type things, right? And then that was all I did for like ever, and then that kind of became the trend, and so I was like, well, now everyone's doing it like that, so now how do I one up myself? So like it wasn't like, because I would wear like play eyeshadow as a kid, but to wear it out, it wasn't or anything that was like mad strict, like, nah, you can't do that. It was kind of just like, you sure you want to go outside like that?
Yeah, that was how
And so
I was too.
yeah, and so when I learned
like,
to do the
what are you
eyeliner,
doing?
it was more so like, well, that's a bit of a more dramatic look, so like, you know, reserve it, because if you make that your everyday look, like, where do you go from there? And so I was like, where do I go from here? And now I have like an entire shelf of makeup in my room.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, and Amen in the chat says, one day she went to school and her friend Belen did her hair and makeup before class because her mom would have flipped if she left the house looking good, and took it off before she got home. And she barely knows how to do makeup because she never did it growing up. Fio says she never had the talk, but Fio also doesn't wear makeup.
Okay.
But
yes,
see,
Fio,
that right there.
We don't need it, Fio, okay?
Nobody needs it, bro. We're all perfect in our own right.
No one needs it. No one needs it.
But you gotta admit,
it's really great
it's
if
fun.
you love it though. But it's amazing if you love it.
Maria
if it
and
makes you feel
Areli
beautiful, go ahead.
Can't see me because the camera is being used by the stream, but I currently have like 3 colors of eyeshadow on and fake lashes.
Cool.
Okay.
But that right there, Amen, is something I was wondering, because one of my best friends, she only like ever really wanted to do eyeliner and mascara, but her mom wouldn't let her. and like literally all through middle school, like she wasn't allowed to wear it to school, so she would go to school, put it on, take it off before she walked home, and like every
Dang.
single day. And I was like, bro, what is your life, honestly?
Right. That sucks.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because
I
like I
wonder,
feel like
like,
that
well then
restriction also makes you
when
feel
is
bad
the
about it.
appropriate
I
age
think
to
13
start
is
wearing
a
makeup?
good
Like when
time
you're,
because like you're a
yeah,
teenager, you're
you
changing, you're realizing that you can have your own aesthetic, like play with it so
yes,
you can get good with it.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like that's like the best time to experiment with it, like once you get to high school, everybody kind of else expects you to like have gotten better at it,
Hmm.
because when you started out in middle school or whatever, and you kind of made your mistakes, or you did all these crazy looks or whatever, and you
Right.
kind of found your thing by high school. But if you don't, like, throughout middle school or even high school, some people, like when you're an adult, like
Yeah.
what are you gonna do,
And the thing
like
is,
if
it
you
is
get
an
into
art. You have
it.
to practice it.
Yeah, like you
Because,
can't just get, I mean, some people just are good at everything naturally, but like makeup is hard, like getting the right,
yeah.
like your face, and then people
So
who
especially for your face shape, because people want to follow tutorials like made by other
hmm
people, but it doesn't take
right,
into consideration like your own face shape, your own style, your own
yeah,
like coloration,
hmm
anything.
right, yep. Like I'm
Um,
not gonna do, like, I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
but that's interesting because like even here, like this goes back to our original conversation. We're all from the same place and our culture influences our lives, but we all have had
Hmm
very different experiences, even with things like that kind of come every day, like doing your hair or like getting ready for the day.
right.
So I
hmm
really do think it's about more than your base level identifiers, just to bring it full circle for a second.
yeah, like yeah, that makes sense, because if you just like, I don't really like makeup, and like, oh my gosh, you're a girl, you don't like wearing makeup, like
Yeah.
what do you do on special occasions? They're like, who
But
does
then
it for you?
also,
And
if
it's
you do
like,
wear makeup, it's like, why do girls wear so much makeup? It's like they're
yeah,
catfishing. So, like,
right,
where is that? Where's that middle ground? Because there isn't one.
yeah. And why do you guys talk themselves so, like so highly of themselves, and they're just like bums, like,
Like, I know a lot of guys that could do with some concealer and mascara. Let's be real here.
for real. Like they freaking wash their ass with the same washcloth that they freaking wash their face with. I'm like, dude, like, no.
Oh my
Like,
God.
and I guess
Amen
it's
has
because,
come into the
I don't
chat saying
know.
that she
My
missed the first
sister
45
says
minutes,
she
but she
likes to
agrees.
wear makeup.
Wait, what, Maria?
My sister says that she likes to wear makeup because she likes it, not
Yeah,
because she thinks she should
Yeah.
wear it.
exactly. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm not
Alejandro.
exactly wearing teal and purple right now to impress any guys. Like, it matches
Right.
my shirt and my microphone, so I thought it
My
would look cool for
microphone.
the stream.
Love that. I love that.
Like, it's an artistic statement. I'm not out here for your viewing pleasure.
Okay, Maria, she said.
I saw that hair flip, Maria.
She's like, couldn't be me.
My hair is just in the way. Okay, I wasn't.
She
Okay,
said
okay.
she said imagine caring as she like flips her hair in the most majestic way possible. AC going full blast in her room, that windy
Right,
look.
like, girl,
I'm
Meanwhile,
actually really hot right now.
she's too funny.
chat's talking about skincare routines because Theo only uses water to wash her face, and I'm kind of shook reading that.
Wait, what?
Wow. And Theo's got like nice skin.
Theo's got like pretty
Like she's
like
got
pristine
really good
skin,
Yeah, she has
and
really
I'm like,
nice
bro,
skin.
how?
but she's
I
gonna go
literally like
viral for her
look.
tutorial.
Oh my God, please
Yeah,
show us.
you should.
Well,
She
she
should
already
do
gave
it.
us her
I
secret.
want to know.
Literally just water, but is it like certain
No,
pH
tap.
or?
I've seen her wash her face. It's tap, but I'm shook reading that even though I've seen her wash her face.
Wow.
But even that's cultural, right? Because like, is it South Korea that has like the crazy extensive skincare
I
routines, like
think
kind of
so.
ingrained
Yeah,
into them from like a really young age,
I think so.
and they
I'm
have
not.
really
I don't
pretty
know.
skin. Does anyone in
Yeah.
chat know about this that I'm talking about? It was kind of like a trend that people talked about for ages, especially
The
BuzzFeed.
people that like K-pop, they probably know.
Any
Where's
K-pop
Jair?
stars? I'm saying.
Any K-pop fans?
Messiah
No.
said that Georgia water go crazy. Also, there's a delay in the chat in the stream, so we're gonna have to wait a good 30 seconds before they can respond to our questions.
Okay.
I don't know. Now I'm kind of just thinking about, kind of like we talked about during our traditions episode, like what cultural differences we ourselves have and how that identifies us.
Right.
Oh, I got a question.
Do tell.
Okay, so if you want to do something from another culture, but not because like I don't know how to describe it, like it's like something that you admire from another person's culture, like is it okay for you to do it too, or is it just not, it's just like you can't do it just because you're not part of them or look like them?
If we're approaching the topic of cultural appropriation, welcome to my favorite discussion to have.
Cultural appropriation.
Oh,
Let's do
shit.
this.
Carla about to go off.
Well, first let me just read chat. It says dermatology is huge in Korea. So yeah, that's it. And people look really young. And Kim says, where's Yami at? Good night, Raphael. Sweet dreams. Thanks for hanging in chat.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
But on cultural appropriation, I'm very much of the mind that that's something to be shared. The way that it was explained to me when I was a youth is kind of like,
girl, chill out.
well, because this has been an ongoing conversation in my experience at the very least, which is kind of like, you know how, and again, I'm speaking this from personal experience because I'm not going to speak for anybody else. You know how in Mexico they have like, especially it's usually like indigenous ladies that have like the hand crocheted shirts and like the braided bracelets, like all of these like really intricate, beautiful pieces, right? And then you'll see a store in the States mass produce it somewhere overseas and sell it for mad cheap without crediting it to like any culture. They're just like floral embroidered white peasant blouse or something like that, right? Like that to me is what
peasant.
Yeah.
And that to me is what cultural appropriation actually refers to, not something like you got, like I don't care if somebody has a sugar skull on their shirt or if they celebrate Cinco de Mayo is just kind of annoying because it doesn't mean anything. Or like if they want to celebrate Dia de los Muertos or something, right? Like if you're not taking it out of context and if you're not, it's essentially plagiarism. It's not let's not
it's like
give
cultural
it
plagiarism.
Yeah, like why give it cultural appropriation a name that sounds so like vague? Like it's plagiarism. That's what it is. Eamon says buying from the culture is how you support the culture, but like that's something that I've thought about a lot, and it also comes a lot with hairstyles and braiding because you see that become a huge issue, especially in the Black community. But what about like I said, with indigenous cultures, especially braiding is a big thing, and braids have like spiritual significance, and also from this stems like people who have different hair texture, like really curly, like coily hair, whose hair would be able to sustain that braid, whereas someone who has like straight slick hair, like you can braid or dread your hair, but like what's it gonna do for you? Like it's not a style that your hair can support. So to me it's more so about like to me it's more of a practicality thing and a plagiarism thing than it is about just like participating in another culture. Like even going to school, like you see the Chinese New Year celebration, and like we're all like learning from it. We're all like taking something cool and becoming more culturally intelligent, if you can say it like that. But that's my perspective. Like I'm very much of the mindset that if you're respectful of it, you can learn and participate in another culture, because otherwise you're kind of just excluding people from it, which divides us all even more than we already are.
Like, oh, like you stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane.
Yeah,
like,
which isn't
like,
that just called segregation?
Kind of say, oh, like and I guess that can become a problem because like you're, like you said, Kara, you're excluding other people. Like you can't be part of my culture.
Yeah.
And then people are like, okay, well, we'll just exclude ourselves. We won't talk to you. We won't associate ourselves with you. And then, you know, when it comes down to it, when you're trying to get two different groups of people together, it's like, well, you're excluding me and we're excluding each other. So like that's just, I guess, like that's how conflicts come up in whatever scenario, you know, like you find yourself in. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with what you said.
What about you, Maria? Since you brought up the question.
Well, I do believe that, like, yeah, if you're respectful, you're okay with doing it. But I do sometimes see myself that, like, I just get so mad if I do see someone that like is like doing something for my culture that maybe I'm perceiving it as being disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just always again like how you perceive people, like at least firsthand. Like if I see a white guy with a sombrero, like I'm gonna be pissed, you know?
Right.
That's
So
my
like
sombrero.
maybe okay. Anyway, like I work at a Mexican restaurant, but like a lot of the food is Americanized, and that
Yeah.
that pisses me off. You know, like fuck, like why,
Yeah.
why are we doing this? Why are we
And
calling
why
it
call
Mexican
it
food if
Mexican?
it's
Like call
really
it Tex-Mex if that's
Americanized?
what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It is Tex-Mex.
just say it's a Tex-Mex restaurant.
See,
Don't say it's a Mexican restaurant.
and con eso
It
I am
pisses me off.
no, I will agree with you. Con eso I'm 100% behind, and it's also something that's come up on the show, where use the proper terminology. Like if
Yeah,
it's not something it is, it's not offensive to take away from it because cultures evolve and change and take from each other all the time. Like that's not a
Period.
secret, and it's a lot more like distinct here in the States, um, just because that's the culture of this country right now. But like other countries aren't as, I think, possessive as of this. And again, this is my perception of
Yeah.
conversations that I've had with people from across the world, mostly on the internet, of course, right? But
Mm-hmm.
this comes up a lot in different group chats that I hang in, and it's a very like defined, distinct thing here. But kind of like you said, like just use the proper terminology. If it's not Mexican, if it's Mexican American, like call it Tex-Mex. That's not plagiarism. That's like you
yeah,
took something, like it already exists. Like we're not gonna go and ban burritos. Like whatever, have your
yeah.
burrito, but call
For
it
real.
Tex-Mex if that's what it is. Like that's a really good analogy. I think your dog is really cute,
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah. Like
I'll end
I
with
don't know,
him.
like I always found like a lot of like different aspects of like certain cultures like so intriguing. I was like, man, I wish I could do that, or I could dress like that, or like I could, I don't know, not do that. But then I catch myself thinking like, would that like be cultural appropriation if I just wear it because I think it's pretty?
Right,
Like,
but
is
how are
that
you
bad of me?
supposed
Like,
to
am I
know?
going to
Because it's
hell?
not like there's one spokesperson for the whole culture. Because this happens like every prom season with kimono reminiscent attire,
Right,
where half
right,
the people say, "Hey, I'm from this culture and I don't care. It looks cute," and the other half is like, "How dare you even look in my direction?"
right.
Like it's a
Yep.
very distinct divide, and like there's no
Yeah.
spokesperson for it, right?
Right. And then that the question is like, do I wear it or do I do
Yeah.
it or do I not do it or not? Like that's,
And I remember this
like, because
came
you
up
don't know how it's gonna end up.
and it came up a few years ago, and the designer of the dress in the case that I'm speaking of, I don't know if I'm talking about the same one that you're thinking of or anyone in the chat, but in one that I saw, the designer of the dress was like, I designed this dress for it to be worn and appreciated by other cultures. This girl was very respectful of it. She wore it and she called it by its proper name, and she credited me in her bio as the designer or whatever. So like whatever.
Right.
Thank you for buying my
Okay.
dress from me, an actual designer of this type of clothing. And I was like, see, that's really cool. But like Maria said with the sombrero, like, are you wearing the sombrero because you think it's cool, or are you wearing the sombrero because you're mocking the culture? You're like, hey guys, look, I'm a Mexican man now because I'm wearing a sombrero, right? Like,
Right.
where like that line, I think, is very case by case basis
Right.
on the intention behind it.
Right. And that's something you won't know unless you talk to the person,
Yeah.
Like
But exactly,
again,
then you go back to
going back
like
to oh, sorry,
the
Maria.
same thing, how do you perceive people like
Period. Oh
when
my
you
God,
Yeah.
first
you're a
meet
red
them?
It's all
flag.
perception, and like you're never gonna make everyone happy because even with the thing about like the prom dress, right? Like half of the
Right.
people are crucifying her, the other half are like, how brave and bold, and then the designer herself comes out and says, I don't really care. So like, who do you listen to?
Right. It's just like, so I guess like is the bottom line, do what you want,
I mean,
but
that's,
then that allows, then you're
but
creating
with
that
what
like,
intentions? Are you wearing it to make people mad, or are you
right,
wearing it to
right,
appreciate it? If we're
right.
talking about clothes, of course.
Yeah, clothes.
It's so
It's
confusing.
complicated. Like,
Eamon
I
said
don't know.
something about people abroad don't have the relationship with culture appropriation. that immigrants or children of immigrants do in the West. Kids abroad don't know what's going on and they just think it's cool. But also, like, you have to acknowledge that that's the perception of a child of an immigrant that lives in the West. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Right.
your perception of an issue. And I'm not saying you're right or wrong or that I agree or disagree. I'm just saying, like,
Hmm.
kind of to tie it back to our entire discussion, it's it's about perception. So like you never truly know. Like if you're doing it with and there's a quote that says the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but like
Nope.
it does it matter, right? Like
Right.
if you know in your heart you're not doing anything wrong, like are you gonna ask permission from the designer to wear it? Are you gonna write to the government of that country and say, yo, is this cool? Like
Is this cool?
how do you
Hey, yo, Japan, is this cool or no?
like and I'm sure even within all of Japan there's gonna be a discussion being had.
Right. That's just how it is.
Eamon says, why not be
Hum-
nice and avoid accidentally appropriating other people's cultures? But what does that mean? Like, that's the whole discussion. What defines
Right.
appropriation, you know? And again, it's
Yeah.
perception. Maria, you were going to say
yeah,
something.
I forgot.
Mm.
I've seen this discussion come up with henna also.
Oh yeah.
But
That's so
mostly,
Yeah.
cool.
this one I've seen evolve, though, because before it used to be because it was like a trendy thing that like celebrities did, and then it kind of became more of a background, like a backseat discussion because like as time goes on and now we have the internet, now we all know henna is a cultural thing that we've all kind of like become aware of and adopted. So like now that we know about it, it's like kind of sold everywhere and like you see it a lot more
Right.
commonly than you used to. And even at school, we see it in fundraisers all the time. So like
Yeah.
that's like one of I think the most like evolved versions of this that I've seen because I've seen it from the start where it was like this is the worst, how dare you, kind of like to oh
Right.
this is something that we have learned and it's really cool and pretty, thank you for teaching us.
And like it's so beautiful and like like that like I guess that's why I asked that question. Like I love henna, but I'm not gonna do it if I know it's not right. I just admire it from afar because it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I agree with you, Maria, because when you look at something, it's like, man, that's so fucking cool. Like I want to do that or I want to participate in that. But you just feel like if I do, like, ooh, I'm gonna get like, is there gonna be like, how big is the backlash gonna
Well,
be?
on the topic of henna, I can tie this to our own culture because our indigenous ancestors used plant-based items to mark themselves with like temporary ink.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a thing
Like
also in
Okay,
our
tattoos.
yeah, like
and
tattoos.
okay, and now you're saying, oh well, my culture does it too, so it's okay.
See, exactly. So like where do you draw that line? Like who's allowed to do it,
Where
who's not? Like that's why I think it's a very like tricky topic to navigate, but because we've made it so, because it's kind of divisive for no reason because if all cultures
Right.
have a root in this, but it's primarily attributed to that, like where is that division? Is it the type of plant? Like is it cultural
Or is
appropriation
it
if
the
I use
design?
yeah, so it's like is it cultural appropriation if I use the wrong materials, if I use the wrong design, if I use the wrong symbols, like or if I use it to draw
Right.
a smiley face instead of anything symbolic, like
Right.
it's interesting.
Huh.
Because like I said, it's a thing in a lot of cultures. And if we're gonna talk identity as we did in the beginning of the show, if all of our identities can be traced to a common ancestor, right, that then spread
Then
out
then
across
nothing
the
matters
world.
then.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like you gotta think in layers when it comes to discussions like this. Because
Right.
right now with the internet being what it is, everything is very incendiary and surface level because people see one post and make an assumption off of somebody's entire life based off of it. But if you dig deeper,
Yep.
you can learn about their cultures and stuff. Like I've had people say stuff to me about Day of the Dead, for example, or about like tribal print and stuff like that.
Right.
Like Aztec print is what it's called, supposedly. I did
Mm-hmm.
air quotes because y'all can't see it. And I'm like, do you realize that I am Mexican and that I looked up what this meant, what it was, so that I could copy the design from like some ancient carving in a pyramid wall, like something like that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you realize that I did my research because this is something that I'm
Right.
tied to.
Right.
Amen. Hagua is one of, or I guess I don't know if you would say it Hagua or Jagua, but that's one of them. I'm thinking about something else that's like derived from the same plant as that is, but it's applied differently. But like that's what I'm saying. Even within indigenous cultures, like there's different uses of it for different styles and
Right.
different materials.
And different like symbolism, or like when do you like, what do you have to do to get this, get this tattoo or get this like thing on you, like, and
Right.
the same thing is, I guess, like you said, like if we're gonna go into like body modifications, you can go to piercings, like you said,
Yeah.
like all this, just yeah, like there's like scarring to
And
that,
there's stuff like
this,
piercing and scarring and like tattoos that
yeah,
are kind of like Afrocentric, but they've like
right,
evolved to where they're commonplace around the world. So like
right,
I think it's just a process of time. And yeah, like you said, it's a different plant, and that's what I said. Like you're not gonna go up to someone on the street though, because you see they have the markings, and you're like, did you use the henna plant or did you use the hagua plant? Like you're not gonna have the time, like Maria said, to go up and ask for everyone's like life story. So
right,
again, it comes to perception and understanding that people also come from different cultures with different beliefs and different like interpretations of social issues as well, I guess. Because like you only have what you see to make an assumption, right? Like
right, because it's just easier that way, like yeah, precisely what you're saying. You're not gonna have all the time in the world to ask this person life story. It's
yeah.
quick and easy, and it just, I guess,
But also like
sometimes,
even
it's,
no, sorry, what you're saying.
oh, like it's like accurate sometimes, like it's what you're seeing,
Yeah.
like they can't tell you like, oh no, it's actually for this, like, but I'm seeing you do
Yeah.
this or wearing this, like,
Yeah, like if again, like if I go to the store and I see floral embroidered peasant blouse, like I'm gonna feel some type of way when I read the label and it doesn't say made in Mexico, because I
right,
know that that's a
like it'll say
traditionally
like made in like,
Mexican folkloric design.
right, exactly,
But
like
if I
made in
see
China type of stuff.
Yeah, but if I see somebody wearing that shirt out on the streets, I'm not gonna go up to them and ask them, "Yo, did you buy that in Mexico or did you buy that at Forever 21?" Like,
Right.
who am I to do that? Because
For real.
whatever their answer is, who am I to be the spokesperson for the culture, right?
Right. Like,
So,
because you're, is like, does that mean, like, does it make you a spokesperson for the culture if you're part of it?
uh-huh.
Like, is that, like,
Which, and also,
is
does
that
it
how it
change if
works, or is
it's
it just
because you
kind of
were
like,
born there or if that's your like heritage, also?
right?
Because
Like,
like,
do you have a stronger say in what happens if you're born there, or if you're just,
yeah,
if you're second or third generation
like kind of
immigrant
to
child of whatever country?
yeah, and to tie it into the states, like there's a lot of Hawaiians that are not Hawaiian. Like they're considered Hawaiian because they were born in the state of Hawaii, but they're not at all connected to the Hawaiian like indigenous people, right?
Culture?
Like there's a lot of
Oh,
Japanese people from
yeah, that
Hawaii,
makes
but they're
sense.
not Hawaiian. They're Japanese. So like would they be able to adopt that culture as their own because they were born and raised in Hawaii, or do they have to separate themselves from it? Amen's turned this into a
Right.
self plug. She does henna fundraisers and it's her culture, and she only charges $5 to $15.
We love to see it. Yes, sis.
Thoughts, you
Dang.
guys? Because we have passed the hour mark, which I did not even
Oh,
realize.
wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Indeed.
Dang. Just thoughts on like anything, or just what we were talking
Well, to wrap
about?
this one up first, and then we can summarize, I guess, our discussion.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of thought like you were saying, like being like the spokesperson for a culture. Like sometimes I feel like people definitely do have that like that that thought of like, oh, like I'm higher up on like the
Hmm.
spokesperson, the cultural spokesperson hierarchy because I was born there, or I lived there for, or I'm married to a Mexican
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
or a, like Japanese person, and they don't care like how, like, does that always like equate to like being like the defender
yeah.
of that culture? I don't know. It's just like,
And also, like, you see a lot of white knighting. Like, you see people who are not from a culture try to speak for that culture, like, especially on the
right.
internet, right? Like, again, with the kimono dresses in prom season or henna stuff, or sorry, not henna stuff, like henna and whatever the other one is called. Because even I don't know, and I'm talking about this, speaking of it from being like a South American thing, but it's like the hagua,
Yeah.
and I think the plant is called Junipera something, but like whatever it's called.
I don't
Um,
even know.
like you see a lot of people like get into these arguments, and it's like, hold up, like, why are you arguing about this if this isn't something that you're personally connected to? Like, did you do your
Right.
research, or did you just be like, this seems like it's wrong and the internet told me it's wrong, so I'm gonna say that it's wrong too, just so that they know they're wrong? Like,
Yeah. And
like,
it turns out that they were actually wrong and they look
yeah,
stupid.
because then, like, the designer comes out and says, I actually really don't care.
Right.
Like, I'm talking about one specific incident as well, so, like, again, don't take anything that we say out of context, don't quote us on it, we're just here to have a conversation. But, like,
Don't cancel me 10 years from now, please.
we already talked about cancel culture. I don't want to have that
Oh my
discussion
God.
again.
That's
But Maria,
nuts.
since you brought up this question, how would you wrap up this discussion?
I feel like what makes people who they are, well, not like the definite thing, but a big part of what makes a person is their choices. And like you said, these people that were born in Hawaii, but they're not from like native blood, like their ancestors are not from there. Like, I don't know, like that's tricky because like it could be taken wrong if like someone tells them that they have the choice to identify as being like Hawaiian or not, but like
Mm-hmm.
like
But,
it's
like,
just so complicated. But what
exactly.
I guess what I'm trying to say is just like, if you really want to know someone and know who they are, you have to look at their choices and their actions.
No,
Because choices are consciousness, like you're conscious, you know, with that.
Those
yeah,
are things you
And
can control.
which tells you about their consciousness.
yeah.
So I feel like that's
Okay,
like
Freud.
that's the best that's the best you can get from someone.
In the wise words of Albus
So like, yeah,
Dumbledore,
and again, yes, that's where I got it.
it is our choices that show who we truly are, not our or far more than our abilities.
Oh man.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it.
Y'all are such dorks.
What you gonna do about it though, Areli?
I
Not
think
even
it
that.
was
Oh
my
my
senior
God.
quote, to be honest.
My senior tile had the quote that was though we may come from different places and speak in different tongues, our hearts beat as one.
Oh yeah, I heard that one too. It's pretty
Okay,
good.
Carla.
Harry
But
Potter, man.
anyways, yeah.
Good combo though. This is a
Proud of you, my dear.
tangent we didn't mean to have, but a productive one nonetheless. And like, we don't have to agree on everything either. Like,
Right.
we're all allowed
exactly.
to differ because again, it's all about perception, tbh. Because
Kimberly.
like you said, our T, we love to hear it. I don't even know what I was saying, but essentially, like, all of this goes back to like our identity is only defined by our own selves, because whatever anyone else tries to impose upon us, only we know if they're right or wrong or if it matters.
If it matters, yep. There you go. If it matters to you.
As Lincoln
So what
Park
if it
said,
matters
in
to
the end, it
them?
doesn't even matter.
It doesn't. Do whatever you want.
We're all gonna someday we'll all be skeletons. It's fine.
Period.
That is a quote from Philip DeFranco's Kid, I think. I don't know. I spend too much time on the internet. But thanks, y'all, for doing the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
I think we've gotten a lot of more conversation than we ever could have anticipated from what type of dog are you? I would ask what type of cat y'all think y'all are, but I don't know breeds of cats. I just know they're in different colors.
I mean, I really like those like hairless cats. They're so freaking
funny.
Like,
also,
they're so cool.
The dog person versus cat person thing is such a vague, like 50-50 thing, but I will be the first person to say that I definitely will have an opinion based on if someone's a dog or a cat person.
I'm a dog person.
Yeah.
I like dogs, yeah.
I'm definitely a dog person, definitely.
Which is why y'all are on the show. But like, dang, that's crazy.
Alright, so you're a turtle person, Carla?
Yeah, I'm a reptile person if I have to choose like a type of pet, because I like turtles. I would love to have snakes and lizards.
I've always wanted a snake, but my mom will not let me.
Same.
She's like, get your own place.
Okay, Slytherin.
Such a Slytherin. A Gemini and a Slytherin.
Literally is a Slytherin. She was literally a Slytherin.
Bro, now no one's gonna be
Wait, did you do the sorting hat thing, Areli?
Yeah, she
Yes.
did,
And the
she got
Slytherin confirmed?
Slytherin.
So, okay, so Pottermore used to have that sorting hat test back in the day. When I took it, whenever I was a child, I was a Gryffindor, and then they took it down because they, like, redid the site, and when they put it back up, I was a Ravenclaw. I was like, what? But, like, now I kind of feel it.
Interesting.
I'm Hufflepuff.
You
Oh
will.
my god,
Maria.
guess, no wait,
You would. You would.
guess what Areli's Patronus is?
Oh,
Here
is
we
it
go.
a
It's
snake?
a
Here we
I feel like
fucking
vulture.
it's a vulture.
It's a vulture.
No me inventes.
It's a vulture.
Amen, we were meant to
That
be
was
roommates. She says she's a dog person who wants a lizard and a chameleon. But a chameleon is a lizard. Lizards would be
Yo,
a
I had
sick
snail
pet to have.
pets at one point in my life.
Snails?
Snails.
Wait, what's your Patronus, Maria? This is important before we go
I'm
off
a
air.
bay stallion.
A what?
A stallion.
I'm a bay stallion.
A horse. She's a horse.
My old one used to be, I think, a white mare, but my new one is this freaking aardvark.
What is that?
You know Arthur?
Honestly, I see it.
Arthur is an aardvark.
Arthur, bro, she's Arthur.
I'm Arthur. I was Arthur for Halloween.
Turtle?
An aardvark, my dear.
Arthur the turtle?
No, aardvark.
No.
An aardvark's like an anteater, but not.
Oh. Right. Oh.
I think they're herbivores.
Yeah, that's the one that eats ants and the other one doesn't. But
bro, I fuck with aardvarks. They're cool.
I'll accept it only because I like Arthur. That's my favorite show from when I was a kid.
So yep, Gemini, Slytherin, and my Patronus is a vulture. What else? What else do you guys know?
You're one type, but I don't remember mine. I just know how to phoenix feather core.
Oh, I don't even know.
I think mine was a dragon.
Dragon heartstring. Where has this conversation gone?
I don't know.
I
love know. Harry Potter.
Me too.
Dang.
Let me show you this since we're having this conversation. This is literally just turned into us talking on Hangouts. Eamon says that she's tested. Yeah, there's still people in chat, but Eamon said that she's tested as a Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and Gryffindor.
I felt like
So everything but Slytherin, and she got Red Squirrel for her Patronus, and they were like, you tend to prepare for the worst and be meticulously organized and always carry around essential supplies. Wow. I have a chat can see this, you guys can't, but I have a golden snitch necklace that I got as a gift one year.
Wow. I'm so jealous.
I'll show it to you guys later. Wow. It's really cute. I have it on my desk. But this is, I think, a good point to end the topic on, because now we're talking about imaginary identifiers for like Harry Potter is a fictional world, and we really care about what we were sorted as.
Oh,
who are we?
Who are we?
Also, my sister got me these Harry Potter pins that are also on my desk. Linked upside down. Here you go. Eamon's wand is redwood with unicorn hair core.
I don't even know what my.
Oh, unicorn.
Alright, when we go off air, I want you to retake the Pottermore test, because now I'm intrigued. Alright, but that's all we have for you today, chat, and anyone that watches this after the fact. Thanks for hanging. Areli, Maria, thanks for being on the show. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same channel, new nonsense, maybe new guests. I'm not sure about that one, but the week after that will be our finale, I'm pretty sure, because we'll be back on campus, and we might be back in the radio station. If not, then the podcast will continue just on here on YouTube. And also, I don't know if I announced this last week, it's available now on Spotify and Google Podcasts, so if you just want to hear it, it's finally up and running. Yeah. You might get ads, you might not. I don't know how that works. I'm still figuring it out, but if not, then enjoy your freebies, because at some point, I really hope this will be monetized. Eamon said, let's play Club Penguin live. You guys want to know something? I've never played Club Penguin. Ever. A day in my life.
Me neither.
Me neither.
I've had Webkins.
My sister had Webkins. I had Pop Tropica. That's it. We should play Club Penguin. That should be a podcast. It's just figuring out how to use Club Penguin.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons was a game? I never knew that. Mario Kart was good.
Yeah, I'm like you could. Yeah, The Simpsons was a game
All right, friends.
on the cube or something. I don't fucking remember.
Anything you'd like to say before we
Anyways.
sign off for the night?
Stay safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands.
Yeah,
That's about it.
same. Just be safe.
Don't be stupid.
And yeah, what Areli said, just be safe. Literally, don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Let's see what happens.
Please wear a
Yeah, let's
mask.
see what
I'm tired of
happens.
wearing it, and the sooner everyone wears it, the sooner we can stop. Even if it's fake, just make the government happy until they can say, all right, guys, you can stop wearing masks now. And if anything,
Yeah.
think about it this way. It halts facial recognition because all they can see is your eyes. So it's a
That's
win-win.
true.
You either look really cool or you either don't get facial really recognized. So all
For real.
positives. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right. Let me sign